Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We still have a dumpster fire going on here. The good news is today we're going to start making some oxygen using this polluted water vent here. It is a little cold, so we're going to have to take that into account. And obviously, we need power, which means we need more dupes. But lucky for us, we happen to get a new dupe that'll fit the bill just right. This is Lindsay. Lindsay's a weird combination of researching, farming, and operating. All we care about is the operating. Now, she can't do any cooking errands, don't care, but she's also a quick learner, which means she's going to get really good on that wheel really quick. Welcome, Lindsay. Now, what we're going to be doing to make sure that we have power is take Lindsay and make sure that she always wants to operate. It's her number one goal in life. And in this case, the only thing she wants to operate is going to be wheels. I've made a small adjustment to the wheels to see how it goes. Remember, we have all of our wheels connected by automation wires, which controls when they turn on or enable and call a dupe to come run on them. This one we've set to 90/70 because it takes the dupes a minute to get over here. And then this one we set on 70/50. And the reason why you use this mechanic is that way, once the batteries get up over 70%, well, it'll turn those wheels off back and just these wheels will keep running. Now, I'm not 100% convinced this is the most efficient model yet. We will see. But up first, let's crack this nut. Now, I think we're going to be building our oxygen center here, and that way we can have our polluted water refinement here. But because of the power requirement, we're going to need to switch over conductive wire pretty soon. So let's go ahead and queue up some aluminum ore. It's not perfect, but we don't have any gold amalgam, and the only other metal that we have found is copper ore. We'll start with 40 and see how that goes. Now, luckily, polluted water will not freeze at these temperatures. The problem is, though, regular water will. So as soon as it's refined, it's bad news bears. So we need to figure out that as well. What I think we can do is we can take the cold polluted water, run it through the oxygen system, and then refine it, and then bring it back through. Let's see how this looks. All right, I think this is going to be a good start. We'll get the pump and the tank over here set up, and forever this thing is going to be producing minus 10C polluted water. So we're going to need to put in a system that brings the water up through the warmer gas pumps and everything like this, which will actually help cool the area down, and then back through to a water sieve and then back up into the electrolyzers. All right, that'll just about get us set up there. But now we need to start thinking about the power setup as well. I don't think we're quite ready for an official power spine. So I think we're just going to run one conductive wire all the way up there and then split it off into a couple of transformers. Our rusty oxidizers have been doing well. Also turning a lot of that rust into iron ore, which we'll use later for steel. Unfortunately, we're running out of salt. And salt is one of the prerequisites that it requires. And it's actually a third of the requirement to the rust. So we need to start finding more salt or hurry up on our oxygen creation system. Also in this episode, we're going to get rid of some of these biomes that, well, we just don't need to stick around. We're obviously going to keep our tundras around. I don't feel like breaking into those quite yet. But all of this needs to go. And then we're also going to need to pop over on the next planet and see what our permanent source of food is going to be. If there's a sulfur geyser over there, well, then we know we're running grub fruit. That might not be until next episode. All right, I think this is going to be the basics of the plumbing. We're going to take the negative 10-degree polluted water, pump it out through here. It's going to go in and around, come all the way back out, hit this water sieve. The water sieve is going to turn it into clean water. Clean water is going to go up and start feeding the electrolyzers. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is a lot of power requirements for a colony just running on dupe power. But remember, we're going to need even more than one of these. We're going to need two of them. maybe even 3 of them, depending if we get up to 60, 70, 80 dupes. About half of our colony is going to be responsible for running on the wheels. Another point to consider is that this system only runs when it has to. It doesn't run flat out, but it is still quite the power demand. And as luck would have it, we've found another dupe. Hello, Ari. Ari's got plus 10 machinery, and that's all we care about. Yeah, he starts with Masterworks, and he's got an early bird bonus. He's even has noodle arms that we don't care about, and trypophobia. Don't care. He looks like a great runner to me. When times are tough, you're willing to do just about anything. For instance, we're taking Lyra. Lyra's got the magical operating, but she snores loudly. So we're going to make a special area for all of our loud sleepers. There you go, Lyra. Now you can snore as loud as you want, and no one's going to hit you with a pillow. In the background, we've made some modifications to our power system. We're converting everything over to the beautiful conductive wire. It's slow going, and unfortunately we're using the rock crusher, so we're losing a lot of aluminum ore in the process. But this is only for temporaries. Additionally, we've also set them now onto 90-70, 70-50, 50-30, and then 30-10. And again, I may end up making this 90-10 and 90-30 and 90-50, because the more dupes you have running, the quicker the batteries will get back up there. Now right now you can see these batteries still are not in sync yet, and it's just because we haven't killed all the power yet. But once we completely drain all the power and these things get charged up evenly, the system will work a lot better. Right now, these batteries are off sync, so Gene's running down here even though this battery is just about full. Now long term, we are going to have to be concerned about heat in this area. Every single wheel puts off 1 DTU, and then each battery puts off 500 DTUs, so eventually this will get warm. Look at this! We have options. All 3 of these beautiful dupes have operating. Now 2 of them have yokel, which means they can't do researching, don't care. Otto here has a small bladder. Additionally, all 3 of them have athletics. I think for this case, we're going to go with Turner. He starts off with the better bonus on suit wearing and operating, and his only negative is biohazardous. Don't worry, buddy. No germs on the wheel. Well, looky. We've got oxygen, and it's working like a charm. We're still getting rid of some of the oxygen from up top, to be expected. But now we need to run these gas vents into what's going to be our base. I'm thinking about that looks good. Once we have our base, then we can start turning our attention to Atmos suits, but that brings up a good point. We have no thimble reed, which means we're going to depend on our friend the Dreco. Hi, buddy. So one of the problems that we have to solve with this is this system is normally set up for feeding itself. In other words, the hydrogen feeds into hydrogen generators, which then powers the whole thing. Well, right now we just have this venting into the vacuum of space. All the way up here. You might be wondering how we're doing with power generation, even though we're running all of this. Well, you can see, we're still sitting on idle dupes. You come down here and our hamster cage is barely needing to run. Well, the system is stabilized without the need of any sort of oxygen or hydrogen sensors. It's just working the way it should. Liam comes to us as an experienced runner, +4 machinery, decorating, no one cares, tidying, who cares, a little bit of stylish, don't care, small bladder and building impaired. Well, this one, no, we still don't care. Welcome to the hamster cage, Liam. We've given our duplicants hats. And how fitting is it that our runners will only go up to electrical engineering and get these awesome little hats with the lightning bolts on it. Don't say we don't treat our hamsters well. They get to run with their hats on next to 2 beautiful plants. It's perfect. Now you can kind of see that I've kind of waited till the last minute to get this oxygen situation fixed. We could have gone into the tundra biome to get a little bit of salt. Where are you, salt? There you are. But we've just finished our oxygen runs. So, just in the nick of time or perfectly planned that way? We'll definitely try to give our runners some oxygen first. Seems to be a prerequisite for hamstering. Okay, this is getting near addiction levels. We just keep finding good dupes. Catalina here loves machinery and she runs faster. I mean, it's a win-win. They have early bird and unempathetic and unpracticed artists. And again, we don't care about these things. Welcome to the cage, Catalina. So you might be wondering why we're focusing on operating. There's an important note about manual generators. It doesn't matter if it's an anemic dupe, if it's an operating dupe, or if it's a high athletics dupe. The manual generator only generates 400 watts. It does not matter. We could put a cook on the manual generator and it wouldn't matter. For us, it's a couple of reasons. One, because we want them to be able to get the hats, because they're awesome little electrical hats and it makes them feel important. And when we do that, if they already have a morale bonus for having operating, even better. The athletics that they gain from the wheel is just a bonus and means they'll actually get to the wheel a little bit faster. Alright, so we have the base mostly sealed in and we've got a bunch of vents. The only place that it's not really sealed is up here, and that's because we still need access. I'll probably put a manual door here in just a moment. We are starting to experience the occasional brownout, and I mean that by a circuit overloading. And the reason why is because your power spine can't really be on conductive wire. That was just kind of a temporary stopgap to get us going. So what we're doing is we're going to run a power spine on this side of the base. Now this again is temporary until we get all this cord out and we can have a major power spine going up this side. But for now, to kind of fix the problem, heavy watt wire it is. That's going to present a lot of decor problems. We have the flower pots. We made sure we keep this place clean and swept to kind of minimize it, but it will still eventually be a problem. A couple of features that we've added to the base also is these two gas pumps. They each have an element sensor that says, hey, if there's oxygen in here, sent through a NOT gate and tells the gas pump to turn off. We're using this to get rid of all the carbon dioxide being generated by the dupes on the wheels. It additionally did a great job of getting rid of all the chlorine. But now it's time we turn our rust deoxidizers off. The great thing about heavy watt wire is it doesn't have to be refined metal. Once we get this whole spine in, we can remove all this conductive wire, reclaiming a lot of our aluminum. And for now, we just have one large power transformer connected to it to run the power needs inside the base. Now, temporarily, we're going to try to put a stopgap for the bad decor by putting in a lot of different flower pots. Eventually, we'll put all pixel packs back in here. It'll be as good as I think we can get it. Okay, this is the last one. Honest. I mean, we can't keep grabbing dupes. We're burning through our dirt with all the mealwood that we have planted just to feed them. Welcome, Hassan. Have fun running. And I say burning through our dirt. Not really. We have over 1,000 tons of it. I'm not worried yet. But all this mealwood requires dupe labor to plant and to harvest. Alright, our base is just about oxygenated. And depending on the other power usage, you can see it's only taken our first floor to run it. Not too shabby. Now, in my off time, I'm starting to try to generate a method that has all the power being put on to the grid without needing all of these heavy watt wires. The problem I'm finding in my testing is once the transformer gets full, the dupes then jump off, regardless of what the battery condition is on the other side. So I'm still testing some stuff in there. If you've seen a good solution, let me know in the comments below. I'd be very interested to see what other folks have come up with. And the reason why is the decor is just hideous here. Now, luckily, these dupes have a very low morale requirement, and so even with the absolutely abysmal decor that they're seeing every cycle, the most it's giving them is an ugly -1. I mean, I can live with that. Hey buddy, shouldn't you have some cooking to do? That's another thing that I'm considering putting in, is some doors with permissions that only our runners can get in here to provide us power. I hate to think that these folks could be doing something else, and instead they're running. Next episode, I think we're going to get working on Atmos suits, which means we're going to have to do some Dreco farming to get some thimble reeds, because there are no thimble reeds naturally growing on this environment. That, and probably some permanent bathrooms. I had a great time recording this episode. I hope you have just as much fun watching it. I'll talk to you soon.